Eventually woke up. What was it like? 1. Like a blip. I was in one for 3 days from a seizure. When I woke up, I had to learn to talk again. I saw my mom and knew I knew her, but didn't know why, and it scared me, but I do remember it feeling like no time had passed. And I had no recollection of anything during my period where I was in the coma, like my mom talking to me or doctors in the room. I heard nothing, I felt nothing, and I stupidly destroyed my faith in the afterlife, if I'm honest. There was no heavenly feeling, there was not lingering. It was just non-existence till I woke up again. Like a computer that got turned off and then woke back up. 2. I was in a coma for 6 days last year, because I collapsed at home from pneumonia. I was sedated and intubated. I remember not feeling well, and needing to sleep in the recliner, then some blips, a ride in an ambulance, some very violent dreams and nightmares, then literally waking up at my own funeral. It changed a lot about how I view things. The nightmares were so real, I can still recount them in detail. I dreamt so many things: fighting, getting kidnapped and tied up on a long train ride, that I couldn't get back home. Getting force-fed, getting restrained. I couldn't find my family, and every time I would be able to get through on the phone, my husband's voice was so faint. I was living through World War I, and lost my younger son, then became institutionalized and restrained. Honestly, it felt like lifetimes. Nothing made linear sense, and it was terrifying. The final nightmare was attending my own funeral, but in like 1921. I was laid out in a rural chapel, and I could feel people all around me very grave, and I thought I heard screaming and wailing. Turns out, that was me slowly coming up, and the bier I was laid out on was my hospital bed. I was lightly strapped in, and the grave voices were real. It took me around 3 days to reorient to 2024, and that I hadn't died, and hadn't lost our younger son to violence. In fact, I only had one kid, anyway, and he was hale hearty and right there. For days, though I was suspicious that people just didn't want to tell me that one of my 2 kids died, he had a name and everything. It was terrifying. I had what they call coma dementia for about 3 to 4 months after. I had to relearn everything: walk, talk, fine motor skills, everything. I couldn't even feed myself the first week, could basically only move my fingers. Some stuff I learned afterwards, that specific spots in my enduring nightmare correlated with trauma that was happening to my body, like the intubation, and stuff. They couldn't get my sedation right for a few days, and I was in a light and apparently very fighty sleep. I punched several nurses and techs, bit the hell out of one, and had to be restrained, before I finally went all the way under. My family said that was the first few days. I have zero recollection, but I do remember getting kidnapped in my dream, so. I did go on an apology tour when I woke up and came to my senses. I cried when I met the nice nurse I bit. I was so sorry. Honestly, it was terrifying all around, and the team were just happy I lived. Just before I got sick, I had read about a dozen books about World War I, including how easy it was for women to get incarcerated for just acting weird during that time, and to this day I can't read or see anything about that time period without getting a shudder. The amnesia was also incredibly hard to shake. I had to be filled in on the week that passed between when I was feeling icky to when I collapsed in the kitchen. I was so confused waking up in the hospital. I was like, dude, what? We just went to that party.